Hi, welcome. I'm Colleen Hiscock, owner and chef at Java Jack's in Rocky Harbor, Newfoundland and Labrador. In today's how-to series, we're going to make this wonderful white wine veloute. For most of you, you might call it a gravy, and it goes with pretty much everything, whether you're having a chicken supreme, roast chicken, pork tenderloin, certainly the stuffed pork tenderloin that we have our how-to series on as well. We're going to pair it perfectly with that. Add a little chutney to go alongside it. It's going to taste amazing. So we're going to get started. The one thing about a veloute is we're going to make a roux. So we're going to start off with a little bit of butter. And I have 1.5 tablespoons of butter. We don't need a lot. I mean, a little bit of gravy, a little bit of veloute. We don't have to worry too much about it. We're going to warm that up, melt that butter. I've got about 1/4 cup of chopped or diced onions that will help to flavor it. I'm going to turn on that pan. I'm going to get it nice and hot. Put the butter in there. About medium high, somewhere in there, medium high in terms of cooking. I'm going to let that butter melt, and we're going to add the onions. We're going to sweat the onions in the butter before we do anything else, and then we're going to add some flour. So our 1.5 tablespoons of butter is melting. I'm going to put in 1/4 cup of these onions. We're just going to sweat the onions, and like I always say, you can watch it, just don't touch it, and let it sweat. Have a look. I'm going to turn down the temperature just a little bit, probably about to halfway medium, just because my butter is starting to burn a little bit, and I don't want that to happen. So now I'm going to add to this. We have the onions sweating. They're going to continue to cook, and I'm going to add. That's going to make the roux, and we're just going to let that cook. For those of you who always like to have a little gravy browning in there, we're going to let the flour develop a little color, so you never have to ever use gravy browning again. You see that the color is changing already. Have a look, right? So it's nice and brown, and you can see now that I've started to stir. Still, some chefs will let that color develop. I always worry that it's going to burn on for me, or the color is going to develop too quickly, and I don't really love the color. But you can see, you know, I have a nice little straw color already for my veloute. So the onions, yeah, I let them sit, I let them sweat. Watch them, don't touch them, but then when I put in the flour, I like to stir it just a little bit, just to keep it so that it doesn't burn. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little white wine. I'm going to stir that up with a whisk. So that was 1/2 cup of white wine. And that should heat up. We can turn it up. You can see the color is not a pasty white. It's not a huge brown either, but you can take it a little bit further. You can see it already getting thick in there. And I have now 1 cup of stock. This is a veggie stock that I'm using. But you can use a chicken stock when you're having chicken. You can make some pork stock when you're having any type of pork. Today, to go with our pork tenderloin, our stuffed pork tenderloin, we're going to have this veggie stock that we put in here. So we're going to wait for that to come up to temperature and let it boil, and we're going to let it simmer so that all the flavors are there, and then I'm going to strain it, strangely enough. So have a look here now. I brought it up to a boil, and we have a little bit of texture here. We're going to let that simmer just for a few minutes, say 3 to 5 minutes. We're just going to let that simmer and reduce, and that should thicken up nicely. Then we're going to strain it. Okay, so this is ready. Have a look at the viscosity of this here now. It's got a little bit of viscosity to it. Certainly we can let it go another few minutes, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain it off now, take out the onions so we don't have to have those on our dish, and you can see there's already some viscosity there. I'm going to put it back here, take that off. Look at the color. So the little straw color that we have, put it back in the pan. Now, to thicken it, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of cream. Look at that beautiful cream. And stir that in here. Let it warm. Turn down the pan to about medium, maybe a little less than medium, but certainly on low. And just to let that heat. Some might say that you could boil, but I'm not going to. Now let me sample it in terms of seasoning. Oh wow, it's already pretty good. I'm going to add a little salt, and a little bit of cracked pepper, and my veloute is ready. It's pretty simple. I have my little sampling spoon. Oh, and that's so good. Until next time, I'm Colleen Hiscock. Bon appetit.